Look at the device in your hand right now. It is an engineering marvel. The processor inside your smartphone is millions of times more powerful than the computers that guided the Apollo missions to the moon. Our screens have become impossibly sharp. Our cameras can see in the dark, and our internet connections can download entire movies in seconds. The technology industry moves at a blistering, exponential pace, driven by Moore's law, which states that computing power roughly doubles every 2 years. But there is a dark, heavy anchor dragging behind this relentless progress. It is the reason your incredibly advanced supercomputer is essentially dead by dinner time. It is the most critical yet most stagnant component in the modern world, the battery. While microchips have become 1,000 times faster, battery capacity has barely crawled forward, improving by just a few agonizing percent each year. Why? Because while computing is a problem of manipulating invisible data, storing power is a problem of physical chemistry. Welcome to the Tech Brief. To understand why we are trapped in this energy bottleneck, we have to look at the invisible war happening inside your phone every single second. Almost every piece of portable technology today relies on the lithium-ion battery, a technology that was commercialized by Sony way back in 1991. Inside this sealed metallic pouch is a brutal, volatile chemical environment. A battery consists of 3 main parts: the anode, the cathode, and a liquid electrolyte that separates them. When you charge your phone, you are forcibly pushing lithium ions from the cathode over to the anode. You're essentially rolling a heavy boulder up a steep hill, storing potential energy. When you unplug your phone and use it, those lithium ions rush back down the hill to the cathode, releasing an electrical current that powers your device. But here's the fundamental problem that engineers cannot simply code their way out of. We are dealing with the physical limits of the periodic table of elements. To make a battery hold more power, you either have to make it bigger, which nobody wants in a sleek phone, or you have to pack more reactive materials into the exact same physical space. Tech companies chose the second option. They began making the physical separator between the anode and cathode thinner and thinner, cramming more energy-dense chemicals into a microscopic area. They turned the smartphone battery into a tightly wound, highly pressurized chemical bomb, and eventually, physics fought back. The tipping point arrived in 2016 with the launch of the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. It was designed to be the ultimate flagship smartphone, packed with a massive battery, but Samsung pushed the physical limits of lithium-ion chemistry too far. The ultra-thin separator inside the battery, a barrier meant to keep the highly reactive positive and negative sides apart, was structurally compromised. When those two sides accidentally touched, it triggered a catastrophic chain reaction known as thermal runaway. In milliseconds, the internal temperature of the battery spiked to over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The liquid electrolyte vaporized into highly flammable gas, the casing ruptured, and the phones violently exploded in people's pockets, on airplanes, and in their homes. It was one of the most expensive and humiliating product recalls in corporate history, costing Samsung billions of dollars. But more importantly, the Note 7 disaster exposed a terrifying reality. We had finally reached the absolute red line of traditional lithium-ion technology. This extreme chemical stress is also the exact reason why your phone battery degrades so quickly. People constantly ask why a phone that lasted 2 days when it was brand new suddenly dies in 4 hours after just 1 year of use. Every time you drain your battery to 0 and force it to charge back to 100%, the physical structure of the anode and cathode expands and contracts. Microscopic cracks begin to form. Furthermore, as lithium ions travel back and forth through the liquid electrolyte, they can sometimes pile up and form sharp, microscopic metallic spikes called dendrites. Over time, these tiny spikes grow, slowly destroying the internal structure of the battery and permanently reducing its capacity to hold a charge. You are not just losing power, you are witnessing the physical destruction of the battery on an atomic level. So, if traditional lithium-ion batteries are dangerous, fragile, and have reached their absolute limit, what is the solution? The answer is the holy grail of modern energy, the solid-state battery. Instead of using a highly flammable, volatile liquid to transport the lithium ions, solid-state batteries use a rigid, non-flammable solid material like glass or ceramics. This completely eliminates the risk of thermal runaway and explosions. Because they are infinitely safer, engineers can pack much denser materials into them, potentially doubling the battery life of your phone or electric car overnight. They would also charge in a fraction of the time and last for decades without degrading. But the revolution is being delayed. Manufacturing a solid-state battery in a laboratory is one thing. Mass-producing billions of them flawlessly is an entirely different nightmare. The materials are incredibly expensive, and the physical expansion of the battery during charging can shatter the solid glass electrolyte. The greatest minds at Apple, Tesla, and Toyota are pouring billions of dollars into solving this exact problem. We are standing on the edge of a new era. Whoever cracks the code of the solid-state battery will not just build a better smartphone, they will instantly dominate the electric vehicle market, revolutionize the global power grid, and become the next trillion-dollar empire. The hardware of the future is waiting. It's just waiting for a battery that can keep up. Subscribe to the Tech Brief for more cinematic deep dives into the hidden technologies and decisions that shape our modern reality. End of transmission.